Welcome to another Start Stop Keep. I've got Blake Oliver with me from Cloud Accounting Podcast and Earmark CPE. Thanks for joining us, Blake.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Great to see you. Great to talk to you.
Cool. And tell me a little bit about the two, or your podcast and Earmark as well.
Well, they are connected deeply. I've been doing the Cloud Accounting Podcast for 4 or 5 years now with my co-host David Leary, and we have become the number one podcast for accountants in the world by downloads on the Apple charts. We're very proud of that, providing information every week at the intersection of accounting and technology for accountants and bookkeepers. We're here in the US, I'm in Arizona, but we serve a global audience. And a few years ago, one of my listeners said, "Hey, Blake, I should be able to get CPE for listening to your show." More of a joke than anything, but it stuck with me. It stuck in my head. And so a couple years ago, I set out to create an app that will allow CPAs to earn continuing professional education credits, verifiable for their CPA, CMA, enrolled agent status. And we did that with Earmark CPE. So now you can listen to my podcast. You can actually listen to a bunch of podcasts. We've got dozens of podcasts on the app, and you can get continuing education credits for it, both here in the US and abroad.
Awesome. That's very cool. So we were just talking before. So you've had your own bookkeeping firm. Now I guess like you're on the other side of that, and you know, as a business owner. I'm keen to ask you these three questions about your accountant. So what's one thing you wish they would start doing that they're not doing already?
That's a great question. And it's so interesting for me being on the other side of the fence now, right? I used to provide accounting services to businesses. Now I'm the client. When it comes to my taxes, I do have a CPA who does them. I'm not a tax guy myself. I'm dangerous. You know, I know enough to do my own taxes, but probably shouldn't. And so I engaged him last year. This is the second tax year that we'll be doing it. And I would have to say that I love working with him, but the one thing he does, and I know this is very common, is he kind of just disappears for a while, kind of goes dark when he's working hard, when it's busy. And so, for example, this tax season, I didn't hear from him for several months until a week before the deadline to file an extension for my LLCs. And I had confidence that it was going to get taken care of, that he wouldn't drop it. But there was a part of me that said, I wonder if maybe he forgot about me. And so it would have been nice to have gotten an email at the beginning of the year saying, "Hey, Blake, here's where you are in line. We're going to be reaching out at this point." Something just to give me that comfort, to know that I am on the list. I didn't get that. But I know that's very common. Like, that's not unusual at all.
Yeah, I get that. So it's not just what they do, because the what got done, it's how they do it, just the communication and that side of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of like, I don't know, I have an 8-year-old son, and every year we have to register him for summer camp. And now that we're on the summer camp rolls, we get an email several months before summer camp's about to start, letting us know about the whole process for re-registering, you know, what the timeline's going to be, all that. And so that kind of thing for the tax return process would be great.
Yeah, got it. And what's one thing you would love your accountant to stop doing that they're doing now?
This is something that I was guilty of too, which is provide too much detail. When I
Mhm.
get on the phone with my CPA, I have a million other things on my plate, and the taxes are honestly the last thing I want to think about, just like every other business owner. That's just the way it is. And so when I ask a question, often I get way more detail than I'm looking for. I just want to know a quick yes or no, maybe, or just a few sentences, but instead I get this whole multiple paragraphs kind of answer, whether it's in writing or in on the phone. And I know that that's my accountant trying to be helpful, but it's overwhelming sometimes for me. So I would say, you know, more concise. And I realize this is funny saying this when I just said that my complaint was he wasn't in touch. You know, that was, but so I want more communication, but also more succinct communication, if
You
that
know,
makes sense.
I think I understand. I've been talking about this with my team. Is like the perception of ease is really important, right? So like the, you know, like you said, the summer camp thing. It's like everything's being dealt with. you get that email, it feels easy, right? Like everything's going smoothly. I often use the example of, when you get to like a delicatessen and you get the ticket and it's like, I'm 23rd in line, you stop worrying, right? Like, you don't want to be in line, but now it's like Uber, it's a pretty more modern example. Your
Yep.
cab doesn't get there any quicker, but like somehow seeing it on that little map makes you feel better about it, right? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But I get the communications part as well. It's like over communicating is it creates overhead. So I guess a lot of firms could make you happier by doing less.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know, for instance, am I at risk doing this particular thing? I don't need to necessarily know all of the analysis that went into that.
Yeah. I understand them. Cool. Final question then. What's one thing you'd love them to keep doing that they already are?
Doing an awesome job, accurate, not missing deadlines. That for me is why I work with this accountant, is because I have total confidence in his ability to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah.
So that is 100% important to me, and it's really, to be honest, it even if he doesn't change at all, I'll still keep working with him because of that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, got it. Way underrated, I think, that compliance piece. Everyone likes the compliance's deadline, but I'm the same. It's like I don't want to, I don't want to get in trouble. I just want to know, that stuff's done accurately. It's
Yeah.
really valuable to me.
And I also want to know that because he stands by his work, if we do get a question about an item or a return or anything, that he can defend it. And he has a great record of, only having had, like, he's never lost in an audit, 100% win record. And that's the kind of, person you want fighting for you when it comes to the Internal Revenue Service.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Hey, thanks for sharing that, Blake. So if people want to check out the podcast or Earmark, what are where should they go for that?
Check out earmarkcpe.com. That's earmarkcpe.com. You can put in your email address and I'll send you a link to download the app. And you can find my show, the Cloud Accounting Podcast, on there. All sorts of other great shows like FP&A Today, Oh My Fraud. I have a podcast that's named Earmark, where I interview folks who create CPE courses with me. Just so much great content there. So yeah, earmarkcpe.com.
Cool. And we'll drop the links in the email and on the post as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. This was fun. I hope your listeners got something out of it. And I would recommend, actually, if you want to improve your own accounting practice, go be a client of somebody else's. It's worth the money just to have that experience, so you know how to improve your own business. And I take these lessons and I apply them to my own production company now, right? We have customers, we have clients. So I'm thinking about that. How can I be more in touch with my customers?
Definitely. Thanks, Blake.
Thanks, Matt.